when I realized it actually wasn't a time machine. Crazy. Welcome to Flaming Dragon Friday here at Crain & Company. Typically to my left would be David Cohn, but unfortunately he's no longer with us. He's actually in Las Vegas for UFC 313. Going to be getting some great content there. And since it's Friday, y'all know,
play it.
To my right, just play it. Let's go. I'm locked. I'm locked.
This is Flaming Dragon!
What's it at? Give it to me straight, dog.
The Dragon, the Chosen One. A couple other nicknames I can't say. 1.5.
1.5. I cannot
You're
say.
so cooked today.
I'm not cooked.
You ever just
I cannot say your government name more than once. I will not fail. Control room. Y'all keep me in check back there.
Oh, I already know y'all are.
Right.
We are against me every Friday.
All right.
Watch them.
Yeah. March Madness will be here before you know it. It practically already is. So we're going to break down who's more dangerous between Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama. We're going to go through the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football after Dan Lanning got the bag. And we react to the craziest moments from a pretty hectic sports week. Flaming, tell them about the chat.
What's up, chat? Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you donate, it's on topic. Guess what? It's going to get read. All donations get read at the end of the show. Multiple polls today where you get to decide the winner. Congrats to you. And we will be taking calls today.
We will.
I believe Justine is the moderator for that.
Yep, we'll see how that goes. But phone lines are going to open at 3:30 p.m. Eastern. That's 2:30 p.m. Central. It's 1-855-236-3228. It's Friday. We want a hot take. I know some of you guys want to respond to us about us asking about how, professional wrestling can be fun for adults and kind of how, if you're a fan of that. Yeah, I can't wait to hear that. But got a great show for you today. Welcome to Crain & Company on a Friday. Let's go. Play the intro. I'm ready. Bye-bye. Florida, Tennessee, and Alabama are all very dangerous as we enter the madness of March, and I'm so glad it's here. But if you had to choose out of those three teams, which team do you think is the most dangerous? Now, in my opinion, while they all three are pretty elite in some areas, I just think Florida is elite everywhere. Kind of like the state of Florida, this basketball team has everything. The front court can kill you with Hawk, Hand-Glockton, and Condon. The back court is deadly with Clayton, Richard, Martin, and more. But while their offense is versatile and their defense is all-consuming, to me, their best trait is simply put, they just have that dog in them, man.
Okay.
I mean, they're incredibly physical. They hustle like they have a chip on their shoulder, and their shot-making in big moments or when the momentum flips is clutch. I ask our audience to tell me, please, what is their weakness? How do you attack these guys other than messing with their pregame meal? You can't mentally break them. They just march through the state of Alabama like an infantry unit. They're battle-tested in every way. So if you are giving me the choice between the Gators, the Crimson Tide, and the boys from Rocky Top, who's going to make the deepest run in the tourney? I'm chopping all day long with the Golden Boy Todd and this wrecking crew that he's assembled. And it's their attitude and their effort that can ultimately lead them to the promised land and possibly their one shining moment. Flaming Dragon, talk me into why you would take Tennessee or Alabama over Florida. Give me some.
Okay, well, I'll start with Alabama. One is the pace of play.
Okay.
When you run that type of pace, okay, I think what Nate Oates does at Alabama is one of my favorite teams to watch. I think they're one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. You move up and down the court that fast, and you have a star. Say what you want. Mark Sears is a star. And I think Nate Oates is one of the best in the country for changing up mid-game strategies, what he sees, what he needs to adjust to. And I think a lot of it comes down to in the tournament, if you're this type of team and you're Alabama, if you can cut down the turnovers, become who you are and shoot the three ball well, I think it comes down, would you rather have a better defense walking into the March or one of the best offensive? Right now, Alabama has the best offense in the nation, almost averaging 90 points. 90 points a basketball game. And if you can walk into March hot with the way you shoot the three, you have a star at the point guard position. I think Alabama could make a deep run with these players, this style of play, and Nate Oates being your head coach.
Yeah, and I want to make sure people know, I'm taking Auburn and Duke out of the equation. Okay,
Dangerous.
so we're just talking between these three. I posted this on social media, and some people were like, Auburn and Duke. I know that. We're talking about these three teams. Here's where I'm at with Alabama, and I'm interested to see if some Alabama fans call in and talk about this. I talked about this with Hunter Johnson on his post-game show after the Florida game. Here's what worries me about Alabama, and I've said this all year. They're not shooting the three as well as they have in the past. You can blame that on the Reitzel injury, kind of the personnel that they have. Youngblood, he went off against Mississippi State. He's a good shooter, decent creator, but he's kind of fallen off a little bit. But where I think Alabama, the problem, and the turnovers on offense are the problem, the way they play defense doesn't create a lot of turnovers, but they don't have a front court or a post scorer. When they were making their run and they were operating on all cylinders, Grant Nelson was the guy that could back guys down to the basket. We know he can drive and finish. That's really his bag. But Grant Nelson hasn't been that offensive answer. So Cliff Omiori, he is a rim protector. He is a defensive player. He'll get some putbacks. He'll catch some alley-oops. But Alabama really doesn't have that front court scorer. Darian Reed is still out. He's going to miss the Auburn game. Sherrell shooting the three better than he has in the past, but he's not a back to the basket, dominate you, go in there and get it when you have to have it when the three ball's not falling. So I worry if Grant Nelson can't come on and he doesn't give them that low post scorer like he did against North Carolina, like he did in that run that Alabama went on last year. Teams are going to say, Mark Sears going to get his.
Yeah.
He's going to get his. Let's just not let anybody else beat us. And that's what some teams have done. Every time I look up when Bama loses, Mark Sears got 30, but they're still losing. So on the defensive side, when you look at the size of Mark Sears, when you look at the size of Aiden Holloway and these guards, Alabama does not have great defensive guards. Philon's the biggest one.
Doesn't pace help you with that?
It does a little bit, but when you're turning the ball over and you're going fast, and we say pace helped them, Florida ran their ass out of the gym.
Which was surprising.
Because Florida can run too if they want. Now I want to go to Tennessee.
It's complete opposite. Really.
Complete opposite. And one of the reasons, and I think, when you look at what Chaz Lanier is able to do, he's not Dalton Knecht. They're different players. What Ziegler can do offensively. Gainey, to me, is the key for Tennessee. You go watch that Alabama game. Jordan Gainey kept him in it. When Bama would punch and punch and punch, it wasn't Ziegler coming down making the shots. Lanier showed up at the beginning of the game, but it was Gainey that kept him in him. If Gainey can hit his mid-range and Gainey can be effective from three, I think this Tennessee offense is good enough to take them further than they've gone in the past. But it's been the up and down with Jordan Gainey. It's been the Chaz Lanier showing up, blowing up, and then disappearing. How far can an elite defense take you? I asked the same question about St. John's, even though I think Tennessee is better than they are offensively. I asked the same question about Texas A&M, even though I think Tennessee is better than they are offensively. I asked the same question about Houston, and I think Houston and Tennessee are similar offensively. So when I look at where the weaknesses are with Alabama and with Tennessee, I look at Florida, and I just don't see it. And they're playing their best right now. I mean, Walter Clayton went the whole first half against Alabama without making a three, came out, hit a couple in the second half. They can just kill you from anywhere, man. I think Auburn and Florida, and I know Duke hasn't been tested, but you can throw them in there, are the most complete teams in college.
I got a couple of things for you here. Who do you think is a more dangerous team between Alabama and Tennessee?
Alabama.
So would you rather have a better defense walking into the March, or would you rather have the best defense, one of the best defenses in college basketball walking in the March, or one of the best offenses?
Well, if you're asking me questions about strength, I don't think that's what helps win you games in a Sunday tournament. It's how bad is your weakness. So I think the better way to frame that is, would you rather have Tennessee's offense or Alabama's defense, and then have your strength be on offense or defense? I would rather have what Alabama has. Because I think Alabama can win more ways. Because defensively, we see this in football, we see this in baseball, we see this in basketball. In football, you can have great coverage on a wide receiver. If that quarterback throws the ball up where he needs to and that wide receiver is able to high point and go get it, good offense beats good defense all day. We see in these upsets in the NCAA tournament, great offense, a hand in the face, great switching, great defense, you can still knock down shots. If the refs are calling the game tight, it can negate good defense. So I would rather have Alabama's strength offensively and their weakness on defense to that level, if that's what you want to call it, as opposed to having Tennessee's strength defensively and those lulls and those stretches where they struggle to score points. But I would rather have what Florida has, because I think it comes down to balance, and that's what Todd Golden and this group have.
Well, what's going to kill Florida, which I hope it doesn't come down to this, but it kind of breaks it down of how fundamental basketball will be. Florida's one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the country. 212th or some crazy number, right? Is that going to cost them? Because you're gonna run into a tournament, a team where you're matched up a lot on even sides and just the way the game's going. And it's going to come down, the deeper you get into the tournament, to free throws. Is that going to come out and bite Florida in the ass?
Look, and each team has, areas where they can improve. Nobody's perfect. But I think with Florida's strength in so many places, it really, really lowers the rate of them having to just rely on free throws. I think Florida is so good in the rebounding game, offensively and defensively. Ball handling from the guards, their ability to drive, their ability to kick, the ability for Condon to shoot threes and Houck to shoot threes. I mean, Condon came out against Bama and Houck did too and hit a couple threes. They did the same thing against Auburn. If Florida's front court is making threes, they are unguardable. I don't care how good the free throw shooting is because they can make up for that at some points. Now, if they're not shooting great one game and they're deep in the tournament, the Sweet 16, the Elite Eight, the Final Four, National Championship game or whatever, and it does come down to a minuscule couple of free throws to ice a game late or keep them in a game, I could see that being a problem. But if it comes down to Florida getting the ball in, like we saw the other night against Alabama, they're going to get the ball to Walter Clayton, who's a really good free throw shooter. They're going to get the ball to guys who can make free throws. And I think their guys in the front court can shoot free throws pretty well. I thought Condon was really good the other night. Houck's pretty consistent at the free throw line. So I don't think I think Florida's so good around that detriment, I don't think will cost them unless, the game is just an off night, which happens in basketball.
All right, let's get to the chat. Remember, chat, if you hit that like, you hit that subscribe button. If you donate on topic, it's definitely going to get read. We're going to start with a $5 donation from @BigOrange. Appreciate it, man. Why does Tennessee always look amazing in the regular season, but always find a way to struggle in March?
Well, I mean, you look what they did last year. I mean, it wasn't like they're getting bounced in the first round or anything, but it just seems like Tennessee and the style that they run. And it's all about matchups. Look, there's not one style that's just better than every other style. You're going to run into bad matchups. That's what scares me about Auburn, if they run into a team like Texas A&M or somebody with a physical big that can push Janai Broom around. But it's always seems that Tennessee's offense in the NCAA tournament just disappears for spurts. We see that during the regular season, but I think it kind of blinds us because there's games where Tennessee is really good offensively. But you don't have a game after that to make up for a bad offensive performance. You can't go 4 minutes without a field goal or 6 minutes without points, right? Especially if you're not getting to the free throw line. So I think it's Tennessee's style that kind of costs them late in the tournament, and they go through those lulls. I mean, I think it's as simple as that.
Let's go to a $5 donation from The Band. Appreciate it. Do you think Alabama can win a national title at this insane pace, or do they need to slow it down just a little bit?
No, Alabama, that's who they are. I think Alabama, if the chips fall right and the matchups are right, they could win a national championship. Now, the likelihood of that, I don't think is as great as Florida or as great as Auburn or as great as Duke. But when you're Alabama and you have Mark Sear, and let's not forget, look at Alabama, last year. They didn't end the regular season great. They got ran out of the gym by Florida in the SEC tournament. You look at the amount of, I think they had 11 losses last year in the regular season and made that run to the Final Four. I'm more worried about Alabama's three-point shooting not being elite because they were able to make up with so many deficiencies with that. That's where I worry for Alabama.
$20 donation from Pete. Appreciate it, Pete. Is Florida the most slept-on team in the country?
No, we got to stop saying Florida slept on. Now, a month and a half ago when I was telling y'all they were a top 10 team, before they were sexy to anybody else, yeah, they were slept on. They've got the last number 1 seed right now in Joe Lunardi's bracket. So the sleeping on is that's done. And you're playing in one of the hardest leagues we've seen from a number era of all time. So I don't think anybody is sleeping on Florida. But if you can convince the players, the old Kirby Smart special, that they're getting slept on, that's all that matters.
All right, poll, who is the more dangerous team, Alabama, Florida, or Tennessee? I want your answer. What do you think?
I think they said Florida. I would say Florida, probably 48%.
Florida, 72%. Alabama, 19%. Tennessee walking in with 9%.
I mean, just from an Auburn perspective, that's the last group I want to see. I hope Florida's on the other side of the bracket. But speaking of Florida, they pay their coach pretty healthily, too. Dan Lanning has been announced. He got, kind of a new contract, $11 million per year, which you would think, wow, $11 million per year. You got to be the highest paid coach in college football. Nope, not even really close, to be honest with you. That brings him up to number 4. So we decided to tell you the top 10 highest paid coaches in college football and whether we think they're worth that amount of money or who should trade up, who should be making more money than the other guy. So happy for Dan. He's earned it. Oregon's got to do something now in the postseason, but they are obviously trending in a really good direction. So I want to go through this top 10 first, and tell you the numbers and then get into who we think deserves it, who we think is kind of getting overpaid. So there is a tie at number 10 for $9 million a year. You look at Eli Drinkwitz from Missouri. Mark Stoops at Kentucky is now getting $9 million a year. Brian Kelly is the 9th highest paid coach at LSU, $9.9 million a year. Bill Belichick at North Carolina at number 8, he's getting $10 million a year. Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is 7th at $10.25 million a year. Lincoln Riley at USC is at $10.1. Sark at Texas is at $10.8. He's at 5. Dan Lanning, now 4, as I mentioned, at 11. Dabo Sweeney at number 3 at $11.5 million. Ryan Day at Ohio State, $12.5 million. And Kirby Smart, $13.2 million, topping the list at Georgia. Flaming Dragon, give me one guy, all right? And you don't have to do the guys that are tied for 10 if you don't want, even though I'm going to. Give me one guy outside of number 10 that you think is overpaid as it stands right now.
It's a tough question. I'm gonna go with Lincoln Riley.
Okay.
I think Lincoln Riley's one of the best in the country when it comes from a play calling standpoint, being creative schematically on offense. But you're not an offensive coordinator. You're a head coach.
Yeah.
And I feel like what he's done from Oklahoma to USC, he's been trending down since then. They haven't had a great season. They haven't won really important games. You can say that LSU win was somewhat nice to see. But Lincoln Riley his stock has gone down since he left Oklahoma, and he hasn't earned the money he's getting paid right now from USC. USC doesn't seem like they're getting better. It seems like they're just sitting here. They're not rising. They're not falling. And to make $10.1 million a year, you have to do more than that to me if you're Lincoln Riley and you're going to be a top 10 paid coach.
I agree with you. And from this standpoint, now, a couple years ago when they just hired Lincoln Riley before his first season, I think that's earned. But after what we've seen at USC, and you mentioned them trending down, now they're recruiting their ass off, all right? And Lincoln Riley, I know he knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball, but to your point, I think you're exactly right. I think he's overpaid right now. I think the fact that he's right there with Sark is almost laughable. I'm going to go 7. I'm going to say Kalen DeBoer.
Has he had enough time, though?
I'm just, at Bama, I hold Bama in a higher regard than everybody else. And it's not like you inherited the Sisters of the Perpetual Poor. You had Jalen Milroe. You had these pieces. You got Ryan Williams ended up sticking with you. I think he underachieved, and I'm almost projecting this one. I think he's going to continue to underachieve. So sitting there at $10.25 million, I think right now he is overpaid, even after 1 year, and then looking into the future for what he's going to get at Alabama. I'm going to give you another one. Dabo Sweeney. Now, we'll see with Clemson this year. We'll see. I feel like they're paying Dabo for what he did. For what he did, not what he is doing. Yes, you snuck in the college football playoff. All right, we saw that. You got, kind of a gift, obviously, there in the first round. But at the end of the day, Clemson hasn't done what they've done. They haven't been as championship relevant as they were when he was earning that money. Now, again, that doesn't mean he can't prove me wrong this year. I think Cade Klubnik's got a chance to win the Heisman. I think he's a pretty good bet.
Bring him back a lot.
I think Clemson's going to be damn good, even though they lost some pieces on defense. But 3, you're in front of Sark and what he's done at Texas already, getting within a sniff of the Natty, and
what has Sark won at Texas?
What, you went to the SEC championship
going year. I mean, that's great. Going, but winning is different.
Well, it is, but again, he's revived Texas. Texas wasn't doing this. Texas wasn't doing this in the postseason. He revived Texas, which is harder than anything, and the expectations there are immensely high. So I think Sark at 5 is not that he's underpaid, but I think he could find himself in the top 3 pretty quickly. We'll see with Arch Manning, though. I'm not big on Texas this year, as big as everybody else is.
Does Bill Belichick belong in this list?
So
this is so tough, right?
I went back and forth on this one because he hasn't coached in a game yet. We haven't seen the product. It's a big gamble, but maybe that's what you had to pay him to get him to come there. So I'm fine with 8. It's not like you're at 3 or you're at 2 or you're at 1. You're sitting there at 8. So I'm gonna reserve judgment on that a little bit. But Flamin', I want to ask you about this one, dude. Mark Stoops at Kentucky. Now, it was a great story, how good they were on the line of scrimmage, a couple years ago, and it really kind of moved them up. And I know it's not easy to win at Kentucky, which is still a basketball school, but $9 million? I think Drink with $9 million at Missouri, earning it. Kentucky, though, $9 million? They don't do it this year. There may not be $9 million. It may be gone. He may be gone from Kentucky. He's getting $9 million. How do we feel about that?
What's success at Kentucky in football?
That's for
the
$9
question.
million.
That's the question.
Well, I
you
think
Kentucky fans.
if you were paying him $4 million, okay, I think we could say that. But you gave him a taste of success, and you're getting $9 million. You're a top 10 paid coach in college football. That's not we won 6 games. What's Clark Lee making? God, if anybody should be getting $9 million to win 6, 7 games, it's that cat. So to me, I think the old, it's Kentucky, you can win 7 games and be a hero there. For $9 million, we're shelling that out. You better win more than 7, bud.
I mean, right now at Kentucky, 67-73.
So under 500.
Under 500. In 2018, led the Wildcats to 10-3. 2021 went 10-3. He won SEC Coach of the Year.
And then what happened?
I mean, you went 4-8.
And then what happened before that? The year before that? Like, this is not one bad
when
year.
is it? When do you call it quits?
For $9 million, you better at least get to 8 next year. Because it's not just that Kentucky's. It's been, they've caught a couple tough breaks. They've looked awful. The Brock Vandegrift experiment didn't work out. Seems like all the moves they made lately when they're making all the right moves 3-4 years ago. Seems like, man, it's blue steel's not working for you anymore. So for $9 million, to me, the old Kentucky adage, like I just said, I don't know if that floats anymore. Let me ask you this, Flamin, and then we'll get to the chat. Should Ryan Day be paid less than Kirby Smart? What do you think?
Yes.
You think
Who
so?
would you take right now? Because I know you're going to say Kirby.
Oh, I'm taking Kirby.
Why?
Oh, well, that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah, no,
I think he's a better coach.
Yeah, I think Kirby's a better coach too. I think Ryan Day's a great coach.
I think
I think Ryan Day had a lot better roster.
But you got to give him credit for the roster, though.
But yeah, absolutely, you give him credit. But it's so crazy to see most of the people when it comes to Ryan Day, they think, why did it take so long? Why did it take so long for you to win a national championship with the rosters that you've had? Kirby's done it twice.
Yeah, and Georgia's going to be damn good again. I understand why Kirby Smart is the highest paid coach in college football. I'm just wondering now, maybe that Ryan Day has done it. It kind of reminds me, what is that movie it's The Waterboy? You remember when SCLSU finally wins that game and they go to that after party where Bobby brings the frog cakes and the coach is like, now that you've won one, you can kind of relax and we'll start winning more. The pressure's off. The monkey's off your back. Do you think that this kind of opens it up for Ryan Day to take a deep breath? Or is his pucker meter, to quote our friend Josh Payton, is it still going to be toy?
The last thing Ryan Day needs to do is take a deep breath. Have you met Ohio State fans?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
They're just as crazy as we are.
Oh, I know. It's perfect.
Just as crazy. There's a couple teams up there from a fan base standpoint that could come down here and fit into the SEC just from you're an insane person.
That's why I knew Texas and Oklahoma would fit in. Y'all are as nuts as we are. Like, you walk into the mental insane asylum and look, you're rubbing peanut butter all over yourself and singing nursery rhymes. You fit right in with the rest.
Gotta love Thursdays. Let me ask you this, though, because we brought up Mark Stoops. You see Mark Stoops, Lane Kiffin, and Drinkowitz.
Yeah.
Are you taking Lane and Drink over Mark Stoops?
Yes.
Are you taking Mario Cristobal over Mark Stoops?
Yes.
Are you taking Brent Venables over Mark Stoops?
God, man, yes.
Are you taking James Franklin over Mark Stoops?
Yes.
You taking Josh Heupel over Mark Stoops?
Yes. Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, I'm reading off the top 20. I wanted to see what was behind this.
Yeah. Credit to Mark Stoops. You're getting the bag. But
look, you're almost even at Kentucky.
It's the Stephen A. Smith thing who just got $100 million. I don't know how you're getting that money, but congrats to you on getting it.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right, let's get to the chat. We have a $5 donation from the leader. Appreciate it, man. He says, I am a Kentucky fan. I think it's time for Mark to step down. What he's done at Kentucky has been great, but to move forward, sometimes you got to leave something behind.
That's true. I just wonder if this turns into a situation where if Kentucky struggles this year, instead of firing Mark Stoops, they do what Michigan did to Jim Harbaugh. They walk in and say, hey, listen, I'm going to need some of that back. All right? We're overpaying you. I'm going to need a little bit of that back. Could we see that? And then, we know what happened after that happened with Harbaugh. They turned up.
$20 donation from the Can. What's up, dude? Should every coach making over $10 million per year should be required to win a national championship within 5 years?
You would never be able to put that into a contract. But if I am paying you $10 million a year, I at least want a national championship game, not playoff, a national championship game appearance, an opportunity within every, I'll say 4 years. Because if I can afford to pay a coach $10 million, I can afford to go out and get some really good players for you too. Mm-hmm. So if you don't win it, it's your fault.
Let's go to Matt. What's up, Matt? Matt Steele. Bama had a new defensive staff and offensive staff that was garbage. Bro, it ain't easy replacing Saban. Milroe lost that Tennessee and Oklahoma game. Bama really just lost 1 or 2 games.
Well, I mean, no, you lost 3, right? And then the bowl game, you lost 4. I see what you're saying. And again, that's why, nobody was going to be Nick Saban going in there. And I understand that. I think Alabama fans understand that. I think Ryan Grubb was an incredible hire for them. But there's still some questions at Bama. I mean, I thought the defense at points last year, and I think Coach Womack would tell you the same thing, kind of disappeared in some big moments. So I think the jury is still out. I got a lot of respect for Freddie Roach. I was there with him at South Alabama. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country, one of the coolest guys in the country. But Alabama's got to get back to being the big bad bully.
All right, the poll is, should Kirby Smart be the highest paid coach in college football? Jake, yes or no?
I'm going to say yes, 70%.
Woo! You're on it today. Yes, 71%. Good feel for you.
I got a good feel for the Booster Club, a good pulse on the Booster Club. No, that's why I wanted to ask you about Ryan Day. If after winning the national championship, if you win the national championship, should that coach automatically be the highest paid coach in college football because you won it last year? That'll never. It's that Saban clause where if somebody gets paid more money than him.
What a clause to have.
What a clause that. That's why I said if Kirby Smart should have gotten the same clause with Nick Saban, and they just could have
keep doing it.
Going. It just would have never ended
behind closed doors.
Same number. Look, it's real G's move in silence like lasagna. But speaking about being in good shape financially, you want to be in good shape from a health standpoint too. And in order to do that, you got to know how your body works. A lot of us don't know how our metabolism, whether it's working properly or really how it works at all. That's where our friends at Lumen come in to help you. Here's how it works. You simply breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you learn if your body is burning mostly fats or carbs. Then the companion app provides you with a personalized nutrition plan for the day based on your measurements. You can even take measurements before and after workouts and meals to understand exactly what's happening to your body in real time. It is your scouting report. You're not going to go play another team if you don't know what they run or how they operate or what they check to or what adjustments they make. You need to know how your body adjusts to what you're putting into it and what you're putting it through in workouts. So take the next step to improving your health. Go to lumen.me/booster to get 20% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/booster for 20% off your purchase. Thank you, Lumen, for making everybody healthier and sponsoring this episode. The phone lines are opening in 3 minutes. We want to hear from you. It is 1-855-236-3228. We should put it in the chat and pin it as well there for you. It doesn't matter what it is. It is Friday, so if you're going to call in, for the love of God, bring some juice.
Yeah, I don't want any lame-ass calls today.
Yeah, y'all, if you're going to call in, whether you agree, you disagree, we want a little bit of heat. It's like when I go to a Mexican restaurant. I don't want lack of flavor or lack of heat.
What's your go-to?
At the Mexican restaurant right now, it ebbs and flows. I tell you what, I'm really, really big on the quesadilla right now.
Wow, I don't even know what that is.
So it's basically like it's kind of like a taco that's got pulled pork or beef or chicken or whatever you want, and you dip it
in queso?
Into this sauce. Not in queso. I see what you're thinking. It's quesadilla.
Okay.
With an A. It's like this.
Not my favorite, Jake.
Tomato sauce.
Good. Why am I sweating now?
Yeah, well, I mean, Justine, that's why you're not invited to the Mexican restaurant this Friday.
Yeah, you can't even speak Spanish. So
now you come, but Justine, you're going to be. Let us know when the calls are ready, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, hey, you make sure you get those feet chopping back there. All right, we got a couple reactions I want to get to, and then locks, leans, and dogs and our bets. The first reaction, and y'all know we typically just talk about college stuff mostly here on Crain and Company, not locker room talk, which if you haven't checked that out, you need to. But I had to talk to you about this today. And then the next one's even crazier. So there was a confrontation yesterday between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith courtside. I want to play the video, and this is Stephen A. Smith kind of setting up what was talked about and what went down. Let's go ahead and play this video right
here. That was LeBron James coming up to me, unexpectedly, I might add, to confront me about making sure that I mind what I say about his son. Can't repeat the words because they ain't suited for FCC airwaves.
Okay, Flaming. Obviously, want to get your take on this, and in the chat, if you want to call and talk about it, we can. I just had a child. Well, my wife had a child. I participated, for a little bit.
It's pregnant people, Jake.
Yeah. I am totally fine with defending your child when they're young and if their safety is threatened when they're older. Because they never stop being your kid, regardless of how old they get. But to me, this is one of, and I've got a lot of respect for LeBron James's game, how talented he is, scored 50,000 points. I mean, that's incredible. But the first thing is your son shouldn't be in the NBA. He should be in the G League at best. We know that. He knows that. Y'all know that. And he's also an adult now.
20
years old. You're not a kid. I'm sorry. You're not a kid. You're an adult. You're 20 years old. And the fact that you think, it's not like Stephen A. came out and said that Bronny was a bad person or that he wanted to beat his ass or like that he had mental problems or whatever. He came out and said the truth. LeBron James to me is like that parent that the kid's old enough now, he's in high school or he's in college, but they still want to tell the coach what to do. The fact that you would go to a media member and admonish him, like what Stephen A. Smith said, regardless of what you think about Stephen A. Smith, is so arrogant to me. He's the richest travel ball parent in the world. And it's sad because LeBron, you put your son in this situation. I don't blame Bronny. You put him in this situation. He isn't good enough, man. He isn't good enough. And if you want to dance in this arena, you've got to be able to handle the smoke with it. So this was just, the fake book reading and building that school for kids and that didn't work out. We make fun of LeBron or whatever. I think this is one of his worst moments.
Really?
That's what I think. I think this is one of his worst moments. For telling the truth?
I think we can both sit here and agree that Steve Smith is a loudmouth. He goes off the handle sometimes, 1,000%. I don't think how much you like Stephen A. Smith.
I'm not a huge Stephen A. Smith fan, but is he wrong?
Well, it's just like
where did he go
I think
off the
Bronny,
handle?
first of all, Bronny's 20 years old. All right, he's a grown-up. All right, I agree. Bronny should not be in the NBA. He needed to go to the G League, refine his skills for a little bit, and then you see. But it's hard for me, okay? It's hard for me. One, LeBron, I think you can say a lot of things about LeBron. I think LeBron's a family man. I think LeBron, from what I heard, is a good father and a good husband. Most of his kids seem like they're on the right track, and he does good things. So I know in the public light sometimes, LeBron does stupid things. But it's hard for me to get mad at a guy for standing up for his son.
But it's again,
and I know maybe it wasn't the time and place to do it.
Well, that's one. But two, first off, you set him up for this. You did this to him. You brought him to a place where he is not prepared, maybe will never be prepared. But it's one thing to stand up for your kid if you're worried they're going to get some harm is going to come to them physically, or that it's an emergency situation, or they're 9 years old. This to me is just, you are in the National Basketball Association. Stephen A. Smith is a media member that is saying the blatant, obvious fact. He didn't come out and say anything personal about Bronny.
You know exactly what he said?
Said he doesn't belong in the league because he doesn't belong in the league. If I walk out here and you have a son that's 20 years old and I tell you that the sky is in the sky and the ground is on the ground, I'm telling you the truth. How can you argue with that? You want to argue with me that Bronny deserves to be in the NBA? Okay, if LeBron would have went up to him and said, Stephen A., I disagree with you. I think Bronny should be in the NBA. That's not what he did. He walked over there and tried to big boy him. That's what he walked over there and tried to big boy him because Stephen A. Smith was telling the truth about his son. You did this to him. You have to live with the consequences. And just like Stephen A. said later on in that clip, his agent has my number. He could have called me. I'd have flown down there and we could have sat down and just done this man-to-man. That's not what LeBron did.
It doesn't get clipped.
That's not what LeBron did.
It doesn't get clipped.
That's not what LeBron did. But that's what I'm saying. To me, it seems like a trick. Like, I almost hope it is. So I thought that was
it's just because it feels like he's standing up for his kid.
He is, but like there's a time and a place, and there's
he
stuff
put him there. You can say he put him there, but
he put him there.
When you like to play, when you like to be on the same team,
I would. But you know what? If I knew my kid didn't belong, and a media member said he didn't think he was very good, I would say, you know what? That's part of the business, son. That's part of the business. You want to really get at him? Go prove him wrong. Go play better. Prove that you belong in the NBA.
I see it.
But that's not what he did. What is the chat saying before we move on to the snowboard?
Everyone's first of all laughing about the travel ball, the richest travel ball parent.
That's all he is. He's the richest travel ball parent ever. Why is my kid not starting?
Let's go to Michigander 212. Bronny's a big boy now. Let Bronny fight his own battles. LeBron gave bad advice to his son to declare for the league, and Bronny is not good, and it's in the public.
I feel if I'm Bronny, I would be embarrassed by this. Personally, if I was him.
Let's go to the Biz. He says Michael Jordan never forced his mediocre kids on the NBA.
No, he knew they couldn't play. He just saw them when he got home.
Let's go to the BO. Y'all need to chill, though. That's still his dad. He's going to take up for the same as y'all would, even if it was your own son.
No, I wouldn't. I would not have done that. I would not have said a word to Stephen A. Smith if that was my son.
I don't believe that.
I would have talked to my son.
That.
I would have talked to my son. First off, I would have told him when he came in the league, hey, you're going to catch a lot of hell. You're already trying to match my career, which is going to be basically impossible, but they're going to put you down. You don't listen to that. Block out the noise. Not, hey, I'm your daddy. I'm going to go take care of it for you. Let me handle this business for you. But speaking about handling business, this next story, and it feels like we've talked about Olympians a lot here lately. I'm gonna try and read this as best as possible. I'm gonna have to go to my phone to read this because I don't have supervision and can't see that.
Guys, that's little.
Yeah, it's really little. But this is one of the craziest stories I've ever seen. So there is a $10 million reward for information leading to the arrest of a former Olympic snowboarder for Canada who is wanted for allegedly running a multinational drug trafficking network and orchestrating multiple murders related to the drug ring. The FBI added Ryan Wedding, 43, to its 10 most wanted list Thursday, while also announcing the U.S. State Department's $10 million offer. And here's where this came out of the Los Angeles FBI field office. Wedding went from shredding powder on the slopes of the Olympics to distributing powder cocaine on the streets of U.S. cities and in his native Canada. The alleged murders of his competitors make Wedding a very dangerous man. Bro,
wait, what?
Oh boy went from Olympic snowboarding to
Olympic snowboarding.
Yes, domestic snowing, I guess as we call it. What is going on?
Is he okay? Is he still out there?
He's out there. He's out there.
He's from Canada.
It's like you better catch him with a snowmobile or something.
It's a bad time to be Canada right now.
It's bro, what a change in career.
Why do that?
What a change in career. All right, let's move on. Justine, you tell me when the calls are ready. Let's go ahead and get to locks, leans, and dogs here. Let's throw them up for the weekend. And even though Coney is not here, just as the businessman savant he is, he decided to give us our locks, leans, and dogs.
Wow.
We've been very hot lately with these. I don't want to jinx it, but here we go. Here's my locks for the weekend. Kentucky, Missouri, over 170.5. I really like that number. Missouri's kind of struggled lately. Kentucky tends to play well when people don't think they're going to play well. I think this is a high-scoring game. A lot of threes, a lot of transition, over 170.5. Give me Arkansas money line at home versus Mississippi State. Don't trust Mississippi State. Arkansas looked awful against South Carolina. We're able to bounce back at home, put a good game together. Give me Arkansas money line minus 125. Then my leans, North Carolina, they have to have it. You're in the last four out. All right, either that or if you don't win this one, you're going to have to win the ACC tournament. I like them to cover as the dog at home, plus 11.5, and the money is on Duke to win by 12 or more. Give me UNC plus 11.5 at minus 108. Then St. John's Marquette under 139.5. Marquette offensively is not what I thought they were going to be, even though Cam Jones is an absolute bucket. And St. John's, they play nasty. They play scrappy. They're the Texas A&M of the Big East. And then my dogs.
What type of dog is that?
It's this one that lives in my neighborhood. His name's Rodney.
Did y'all ever find that German Shepherd that was running around?
Yeah, it turns out it was one of our neighbor's dogs. Never trust the Germans. Anyway, Kentucky money line at plus 154. I think they go into Missouri and win. And then St. John's, they're a dog, even though it's plus 105. Not the biggest dog number. Give me Kentucky. Give me St. John's as my dogs. That's what it's going to be.
You want to read Dave's?
I'll read Dave's. He's going to take Bama plus 8.5 at minus 108. They're playing at Auburn tomorrow. Drake, minus 11.5 going off at minus 110. His leans, Duke, minus 12.5. He's got that at minus 110. Then Memphis, minus 13.5. I think they're playing South Florida at home, I believe. That's going off at minus 110. Then he's going to ride with me in Kentucky. It looks like you did too, at plus 154. And he's going to take Purdue as a dog at plus 160. What do you got?
All right, I love it. We're keeping it to a couple games here. I'm going to Alabama plus 8.5. I'm going to take Coney's odds there and get him at minus 108. Obviously, playing Auburn this weekend, I think this game is going to be close.
It's going to be.
I just think there's too much on the line for both teams. And give me Duke minus 9.5. I bought that down. That's getting into minus 150. I like that under the double-digit mark. Then I'm going the over in the Alabama-Auburn game at 178.5. That's at minus 110. Alabama's not going to shoot as bad as they did the last time they played Auburn. I think they're going to shoot better, even if the game's at Auburn. I like the over. They're giving the Duke, North Carolina over at 157.5, minus 110. God, who would have thought a Duke, North Carolina spread would be sitting at 11.5,
I know.
12.5 right now. And then, I'm rolling my dogs too. Give me Kentucky plus 154. They play Missouri, and Purdue plus 160 playing Illinois.
So you and Coney merit on that. All right, our bets for tonight. I'm going to walk over the board, then we're going to get to calls, I promise. 1-855-236-3228. Justine's going to say the name, then we're going to hear the take. Here's the bets I have for tonight. Give me UNLV, New Mexico, over 147.5 at minus 112. Then Old Dominion, big win last night over Texas State coming back. I'm going to take them plus 8.5, playing App State in the Sun Belt Tournament at minus 108. Let's go to Coney's real quick. He's going to take the Vegas Knights, minus 1.5 on the ice tonight, plus 110. And then the Jets on the money line at plus 105. Flaming, what do you got?
All right, let's go. Pull my bets up. Give me Central Michigan going off at minus 14.5, minus 118. They're sitting at home. And give me Bradley. Hopefully he can play well. It's minus 4.5.
A lot for one guy.
Minus 110. Got to be a big game from that guy.
Yep. All right.
Ace Money.
Ace Money is going to take Illinois, minus 3.5. That's going off as minus 115. Then the Memphis, South Florida under at 151.5. Will Memphis' league be a one-bid league? Will UAB win the conference tournament? We're going to have to see. Let's go to the chat, and then Justine, tell me when we're ready.
All right, let's go to Dev. What's up? Nate Oates said there isn't anything to play for tomorrow, just some pride. What does that even mean? What the heck?
Say that again. I'm sorry, I was listening to Justine.
Dev says, Nate Oates said there isn't anything to play for tomorrow, just some pride. What the heck? Does he not know what team he coaches?
Well, I agree with you, Deb. I mean, at the end of the day, pride should be enough in this rivalry, but Joe Lunardi came out today and said if Alabama wins, they get back in that one-seed conversation with Florida, who's the last one seed right now. Florida's got Ole Miss at home, and then we got the SEC tournament. But all right, let's go and get to calls. Who do we got, Justine?
All right, first up, we are going to have William from Alabama.
What's up,
William? What's up?
What's going on, guys? It's been a while.
It has, man. How's it going?
So, first of all, you can both get off my lawn for the hot dog water you talked about professional wrestling.
Here we
I
go.
will have none of that disrespect.
Well, William, just I wanted to explain to me. Like, I understand when you're younger why wrestling would be appealing. And I'm not talking about people that just like it, just like walk-by fans or whatever. But the people that are like 35 years old and still obsessed with it, I don't get it. Explain it to me.
Well, your first problem is you watch WWE, right? I don't watch WWE. I watch AEW.
Okay.
And
What's
so
the
you
difference?
Get a lot more. Well, you get a lot more of the blood. You get a lot more of the hardcore wrestling. You get a lot more mature story.
So it's more physical.
So that's what I prefer.
Okay. All right. I'll have to check out AEW. All I know is WWE. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to understand.
What are you trying to learn? What is there to learn?
Sometimes you want something campy and corny to laugh at, too. There's also that side of wrestling.
Yeah,
Sure.
well, have you watched the ACC and basketball?
Sure. It's just, obviously you have to watch it for one storylines, I guess. I guess one of those is, but it's fake. All right? It's fake. Most of that blood, probably fake.
Well, people got upset. They said it's not fake. The term is it's prepared.
So it's fake. That's just another word for being fake. Okay? It just blows my mind. You can be so invested in something that's not real. It's not real. It's scripted. You're a grown-ass man.
You sound like the woman on the plane.
You do.
Well, I'd be more freaked out if a reptilian was sitting next to me.
All right, who do we got next?
Next up, we have Jan from Lubbock.
Okay. Jan, what's up?
Hey, good afternoon, boys.
What is up?
Just one thing I want to give Heck some love, but I'm not going to get ahead of my skis here. Like Jake says, one game at a time. But my hot take is, I think it's time you boys got a new opening. For one thing, Jake, you look fantastic. You're much more svelte than you were before you became a movie star and a dad.
Yeah, Fat Jake.
And I'm from Lubbock, so if you'll give me Jeremy's number, I'll call him, have a heart-to-heart.
Look, well, it's funny. Conesman and us, we've been working on something. We're just we're kind of almost done with it. But yeah, I want to bury Fat Jake. All right, that's the pass.
Well, we've been trying to get a new opening for 3 years.
Yeah, like I mean,
at this point, I don't know what else we could do. I don't know who to call. Ghostbusters.
Have me call Jeremy.
Well, look, he's here.
Yeah, well, no, they're in Vegas.
Well, not here now, but he's been here.
Jeremy's Razors.
So he knows.
Jeremy's Razors is sponsoring the UFC fight this weekend, so that'll be great. But Jan, we're working on something. Okay.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan. Texas Tech, too, she's right. You want to talk about a team that's getting slept on. It ain't Florida. It may be Texas Tech.
You can look down the road a little bit at A&M.
Yeah. All right, Justine.
All right, next up, we're going with Matthew from Arkansas.
Oh, a lot of the regulars. Let's go. Matthew, what's up?
What's up, boys? It is the Heartbroken Hog here. And I appreciate what you guys are talking about at the start of the show with most dangerous teams, but I feel like that was kind of more of the best teams. Dangerous teams are normally more of the underrated teams. You know,
I don't know. I think both are dangerous.
Arkansas is a team that people aren't talking about that might actually get to the Sweet 16 this year, boys. I mean, Calipari, he is not washed. He has coached his ass off getting this team turned around.
It has been impressive to watch the turnaround for Arkansas, but I think a lot of it comes down to if Tierra's healthy. Like, without him, I don't think y'all can do it. And if Big Z can hit threes.
Only 7 guys is rough.
Yeah, I just what are the thoughts?
I mean, you know, it's not dangerous, Matthew, to call in and say an underrated team's the team you root.
Well, my thing, Matthew, I would say, you know, a Ninja Star is dangerous, but an AK-47 is way more dangerous.
Yeah,
but we'll see with Arkansas. It's been a good turnaround from Cal. I will say that. We'll see how they finish. But all right, who do we got next, Justine?
Next up, we're going Ethan from Hillsboro.
Ooh. Ethan from the borough. What's up?
Hey, what's up? How's it going, boys?
Going good, man.
What's up,
Friday. Can't wait.
You're rocking and rolling right now.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so let's just get into it. So my hot take is that 4 or more SEC teams will at least make the Sweet 16 or possibly better.
Bro,
so
I think you're right.
That is true. That is true. So here are the 4 that I think could possibly make it and possibly could. Tennessee. Yep. I'm looking at the bracketology right now. They have to get through a 15 seed, whatever that is, and either Baylor, which I'm actually going to Baylor right now, or
nice.
Illinois. Then Alabama, although they're currently right now as a 2 seed, but we'll see with their match against Auburn tomorrow, where they'll drop at. They have to do a 15 seed at either BYU or Ohio State.
Yep.
Then we have Florida, which you guys have talked about as the lowest ranked.
Hey, keep them on. Keep them on. Keep them on.
Oh, cut him.
Okay.
Oh, no, he's still on. Going. Ethan, you're still on. Go.
I'm still on. And then Florida have to be a 16 seed at either Crain or West Virginia. And then Auburn, I think, is going to be the last one. 16 seed either Kansas or New Mexico. And then some honorable mentions are Missouri, although they do have to be Yale, Yale did, I think, beat them like in 2023, 2022, I think.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say. I think there's a decent chance you could have 3 or 4 SEC teams make the Elite Eight. As far as the brackets right now, I will not. They're going to change so much after what happens Saturday and Sunday and then throughout the tournaments. I want to look at them and be like, oh, I like this matchup, I like that matchup, but I know they're going to change so much once we get to the conference tournament. So it all comes down to matchups, you're right, but we'll see. The SEC's in a really good spot. They really are in a good spot.
All right, next up we have Steve from Ohio.
All right, Steve, you wanted to call in about this wrestling thing.
Hey!
Let's hear it, dog.
People who disparage adult pro wrestling fans need to get off my lawn.
Here we go. Okay. I like it.
Recently, I heard some cold remarks from members of this show while talking about pro wrestling fans. The title of the show was Adults Who Watch Pro Wrestling Need Help. What's the big deal? People say wrestling is fake, and that is why they don't like it. The word fake is so disrespectful. How about you get in the ring and try to do what they do and then tell me it's fake? Predetermined is a better word to use. If that is your excuse for not liking wrestling, then you should never watch another movie or television series because those are all predetermined as well. Pro wrestling is an art form. The ring is a canvas where wrestlers can tell a great story throughout a match.
Yep.
Examples of those stories you can see on YouTube are as follows.
Let him go.
The 1989 trilogy between Ric Flair and Ricky Steamboat. WrestleMania 25, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. WrestleMania 40, Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns.
Okay.
Give those matches a chance.
Okay.
You might learn how to appreciate what I have loved for over 40 years.
See, this may be your best call.
Those who choose to ignore me can go on with your lives and think that wrestling is fake, but you can do that by staying the hell off my lawn.
I tell you what, Steve, that may be your best call. That may be you encapsulated it for me right there. Like I think that's Steve's best call.
Well, you're watching a soap opera. That's what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. See, if you can explain it to
it's
me,
not a sport. Let's go and say it's not a sport. It's not a sport. It's not. It's not.
I think that's debatable.
I would love to hear your debate.
Well, you do have to train for it. Like physically, there are demands. Like, but is it since the winner is already
exercising a sport?
Since the winner is already predetermined. Now, some people think this is this way in the NFL. That's where I would hesitate to call it a sport. But I like the soap opera comparison.
That's what it is. It's like, yeah, they're like, cool. It's like, oh, God, I hit you, I'm on top of you. Then you hey, man, move your leg a little bit. Can you move your leg a little bit?
I will say that, like, the moves are pretty impressive. So, Steve, I think that was Steve's best call.
He did well.
I think that was Steve's best call.
He
Justine,
did well.
We got anybody else?
Next up, we have Tennyson from Ohio.
All
Get him in here.
Or Iowa. Sorry, Tennyson.
God, figure it out. Tennyson, what up?
Fine. I'm actually from Texas, so hey, guys, my hot take is that the beatings will continue from Texas A&M to Auburn until Blaine's morale improves.
About A&M? Well, I mean, he was like this during football season too, though.
I mean,
I don't have a problem with Texas A&M. Is that what he's saying?
I think you do have.
I don't have a problem with this. Is like I think y'all have a lot of great things going for you. I love your football coach. I love your basketball coach. Y'all seem to be gritty. Y'all seem to have. I love your uniform facility. Your stadium's great. Just get the dudes with the overalls off the field. It's everything's boom, boom, man, fantastic, and then you just ruin it. You just get some cheerleaders.
Until you stop bashing the yellow, I'm going to continue to lose.
Like you said, hold on. Keep Tennyson on. Tennyson. I almost said it. Flaming.
He said it.
I almost said it. Flaming was saying the same thing last year during football season, and y'all were ranked like 12th, and Auburn beat y'all. He hasn't changed. Now, I don't think. Look, if you can talk ish to the number one team in the country that played in a game that in all actuality really didn't matter, if we're going to be honest, if Auburn plays Texas A&M in the NCAA tournament, they will beat them to death when it matters. They just, let's just.
Like Texas A&M was my first dynasty in NCAA.
That's important.
First online dynasty.
That's
you think I'd take a team that I hated?
Yeah.
The only thing I try to do, I try to get in touch with the devs of NCAA to get these guys with overalls off my sidelines.
He tried.
I'm trying to recruit.
Yeah, he tried. All right, we got one more call, Justine?
Yeah, last one, Kirk from Canada.
All right, go ahead, Kirk.
Hey, boys, what's going on?
What's up, man? How's it going up there?
Hot take. It's going good. It's a nice day. It's like probably close to 65, which is quite warm for this time of year.
Nice.
Hot take. I never thought I would say this in my lifetime, but Wayne Gretzky's all-time goal record will fall this season to Alex Ovechkin.
Pretty impressive. How pissed are Canadians will be if a Russian does that?
Not too bad because Gretzky, don't forget, has over 1,900 assists.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all would only be pissed if American did it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, here in a couple months, it'll be an American record that falls when Ovechkin breaks it.
Oh, well, you can. I got a lot of friends who are losing their minds over that, but hey, I'd love it. I would love it.
I know you would, Kurt.
But anyway,
then we wouldn't have to skyhook you.
Look, this wouldn't have been a problem. Like, this wouldn't have been a problem. Y'all can talk all the ish you want, but you booed our national.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's certain things you can't do. There's levels to this.
Yeah.
We say you can make fun of what we eat, the way we dress, the food in America. That's fine. But you come after our national anthem, there's a line you crossed.
Yeah.
And now there's repercussions to that.
It's like the campaign. You turn the page, and then we take over your country.
Exactly.
Like, it's just the way it works. But, all right, good calls today. Let's get to the chat.
Let's get to these donations. If you donated today, thank y'all so much. A $10 donation from Trav. Appreciate it, Trav. Ryan Day, 1-1. But why did it take so long? Kirby's 1-2. They both won their first natty in year 6. Kirby is now in year 10. Will Day have 2 natties after his 10th season?
Yeah, I say yes.
You say yes?
I say yes.
$5 donation from the Bentley. Appreciate it. I'm hoping UGA gets a win tomorrow and makes a decent run in the SEC tournament. That's the only way I see them making it into the
I don't know, man. I feel like George is in. Who do they got tomorrow? Top of my head, I cannot remember. I feel like, though, this run Georgia went on, I think they're in. What I'm more interested to see is if Texas and Oklahoma, who play each other tomorrow, if that's an elimination game for the tournament, because they both, I think they're in the last 4 out, something like that. That's the one I'm keeping my eye on.
$5 donation from Timmy. Appreciate it, Timmy. Jake, be honest with me, and when I say that, I mean it. Do you think we win tomorrow?
Is he talking about Auburn? No. I've had a bad feeling about this one since we beat them there. I got a bad feeling about it.
All right, let's go to $5 donation from the Rebel. Appreciate it. I might be crazy, but Lane Kiffin being a top 10 highest paid coach doesn't sit right with me. What has he really won at Ole Miss?
Well, I think he's elevated Ole Miss. I mean, we can talk about last year, and that was a disappointment. But I can understand Lane Kiffin being a top 10 paid head coach more than I can understand Mark Stoops. I'll put it that way.
Let's go to $2 donation from Dave. Appreciate it, Dave. If you read this, Condon just dunked on you.
Yeah, dude, that dude's just freaked out against Bama.
$5 donation from Mikey P. Appreciate it, Mikey. Oh, how far they've come. The new head coach of Florida looking pretty good now after beating those scandals.
I know. Oh, boy, beat Bama, Auburn, and the allegations. God, I wonder how hard he does a fastball.
$5 donation from Blaine's secret girlfriend. I can't believe that's a handle. The only thing more dangerous than Florida is a dragon shirt from last week. Did you ever burn it? I hope Wardrobe hears this.
No, dude.
They keep putting me in it.
No, I hope they keep putting you in it. It's obviously a lightning rod of controversy.
$2 donation from Jake's forehead. Appreciate it. Congratulations, Jake, on winning Flaming Dragon Friday.
Yes, play the graphic. Thanks for reminding me. Play the graphic. I am the smartest man alive.
Can't win nothing over here. Last donation of the day, a $5 donation from Pete Sack. Appreciate it, Pete. Jake, I know it's a little bit off topic, but how do we feel about Brenton Venables in Oklahoma this year? Would you put them in the dangerous category? Dangerous man.
Let me say it.
He's a dangerous man.
I think Oklahoma makes college football playoff.
Really?
I'm dead ass serious.
What makes
I'm riding with it this year.
New quarterback
at NOC.
Jim Nagy.
Venables taking over. I don't think it's going to. Jim, you can't have that much of an effect that quickly. I know what jealousy of a rival does, and I'm looking at the numbers. You look at the injuries from Oklahoma last year, and Brent Venables has to have it. It is the perfect recipe of Oklahoma making the college football playoff. I think they're going to do it. You heard it here first. I
want this comment to get out there. It's kind of crazy this show would have Crain on this channel, but have no respect for pro wrestling or the fans. It's strange.
Have no respect?
Yeah.
Wait, all we said was explain it to us. Cone loves it.
Cone loves it.
Even replacement Cone loves it. Look at his face. He's up the whole time. And we love Mayor Glenn Jacobs and also Kane. We just wanted to it explained to us. That's all. That's it. Not saying anything bad about anybody. I thought Steve came on here and articulated it very, very beautifully.
Steve did.
And passionately.
And we enjoy that.
Which I appreciate that. We appreciate all your passions.
Good show, man.
Most of them.
Are you ever going to say my name again on a Friday? What I'm going to have to do is really start pissing you off. Really start pissing
That's how you
off.
get me.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That's on me. Today's on me. That's on me.
It is. All right, we appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Check out our UFC content we're putting out with UFC fighter Sam Alvey. We're going to talk about the greatest Russian fighters of all time and why they all tend to come out of one place. Like the chances you're not enjoying hoops this weekend. We're going.
That was just hold on. I'm up. Clutch!
Get out of here. You missed it.
Clutch!
You missed it.
Just throw it. I'm open.
Deep fake. You got to throw it up in the air, though.
I did throw it in the air. How do you think I caught it?
Oh, go. Bye.